Hello and good evening, everybody. No, those aren't the dulcet tones of Knight Uretsky. It's Joey Kieran. The B Squad is back on the radio for you here tonight. The dulcet tones of Knight Uretsky have actually taken a little bit of a lump. They're on the DL. A little bit of illness put him on the sideline with a scratch. Well, it has improved to a scratchy voice for Knight Uretsky. He is here running the operations here courtside with us as we get ready for Roseburg basketball for you tonight here on The Score. We are wrapping up the JV game here, and the gym is starting to fill up as folks are getting ready for Roseburg basketball coming up here tonight. Appreciate all of you tuning in and joining us for tonight's contest here on The Score, or maybe watching online at 541radio.com and on our YouTube channel. That's 1490 The Score on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button to make sure you're following Roseburg High School sports throughout this school year. Our live video simulcast is brought to you by the Cow Creek Tribe. Roseburg JV just about to wrap up a comeback victory here tonight, although one last whistle with 2.1 on the clock. And Roseburg leading 51-46 heading to the free throw line. That'll be a nice comeback win for the JV team. They were trailing by around 10 with about 5.5 minutes left to go in this fourth quarter. They will inbound and secure it. 51-46, a nice comeback win for the JV team. And now it is getting ready for the varsity matchup coming up here tonight. Well, it's great to get a chance to get back here and behind the steering wheel of Roseburg basketball on The Score. Since Knight has been covering the games, the team has not necessarily performed the way they would hope to. 1-6 in conference play, 5-15. I don't mean to put that on Knight. I feel like I said that like it was his fault because he was behind the microphone. No, 5-15 on the season, 1-6 in conference play, but tonight they take on the Willamette Wolverines, who are also 1-6 in conference play, 4-15 overall. Roseburg, back on January 12th, was at Willamette in Eugene and suffered a 5-point loss, 61-56 against the Wolverines. A tough one there for the Indians in a game that felt like from the get-go they were not quite playing their level of basketball. They're hoping they can kind of find that gear here at home tonight with the home crowd behind them and see if they can pull off a victory against the Wolverines. We'll have plenty to discuss about tonight's matchup. Don't go anywhere. We got a chance to catch up with head coach Jordan Humphreys here in the pregame show. I talked with him. First time he and I have gotten a chance to catch up, so we had a lot. It goes a little long, so we're going to go ahead and take our break and come back with a conversation with head coach Jordan Humphreys here on the pregame show. Joey Kieran here with you. Knight Uretsky is here with me. We'll bring him in the broadcast at some point as well, but, he's on a minutes restriction here tonight, so we'll have that for you at some point as well here tonight. So, folks, don't go anywhere. We'll take a 2-minute timeout. Come back. Head coach Jordan Humphreys joining us in the pregame show on 541radio.com and on The Score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM.
Hey there, sports fans. Thanks for watching this local sporting event online at 541radio.com. Did you know there's more than one way to watch games online? You can watch games on your laptop or desktop computer, your tablet, or even your smartphone just by going to 541radio.com. But we also use YouTube to stream all of our video broadcasts, which means you could be watching this game on your big screen TV with a number of different streaming devices. You can stream our live YouTube broadcast through your PlayStation or Xbox gaming device, or through streaming devices like Google Chromecast, Apple TV, or Roku. There's plenty of ways to follow this live local sporting event. Plus, you can find past events archived on 1490 The Score's YouTube channel. Find us on YouTube and subscribe today to keep up with the latest in local sports coverage.
For over 100 years, Douglas County Farmers Co-op has been serving the needs of farmers, ranchers, and homeowners throughout Southern Oregon. Here, everyone is welcome. When you shop with us, you can expect good people, good products, and good advice. No membership needed. Just bring yourself, and we'll provide the expertise and products you need to tackle your next project. Douglas County Farmers Co-op, where everyone is welcome to shop.
When the first Cascade branch opened in 1948, things were a lot different here. The fact they're still here says a lot about the way they do business.
Staying in business for 75 years requires the cooperation of generations. It's the desire to learn and grow with your community.
My account number is only 5 digits long. What that tells me is that this is a local credit union.
Cascade Community Credit Union would like to thank you for 75 years of growth and support here in Douglas County.
Back here with more of our pregame on the score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM. Streaming with video online at 541radio.com. We're back here at Robertson Memorial Gymnasium for tonight's contest between Roseburg and Willamette. Joining us now is head coach Jordan Humphreys. Coach, back-to-back nights. Not often you guys get to action a couple of days in a row, except for usually during the holiday break when you guys have tournaments and things like that going on. So how do you feel like the guys are doing, trying to maybe put yesterday behind them and trying to move into what you guys got here tonight against the Willamette squad?
That's a great question. I mean, you never know until you get out there. Fortunately, that's why we do some of those Christmas tournaments. And I think when we were down at the Abbeys and we bounced back our second game against, West Salem, we performed pretty well. And so I think guys do a good job of having a short memory, reflecting, and be able to bounce back and continue to play hard.
I know last night facing a Grants Pass team, first I was going to ask, the will we, won't we? We always talk about that a lot during the spring season when you've got rainouts coming into play for baseball and softball. The always wondering if you're going to get a chance to actually get out and play a game. Did you feel like kind of the delay, did that have any effect in just kind of maybe the mindset of the team going into that one?
Yeah, it definitely could have. Weird day playing at 4 o'clock, no JV or JV2 game beforehand. Every day not knowing, hey, are we going to play tomorrow? Waiting to know. And, we talk about how important preparation for game day is. And so when you're having, 4 nights in a row prepping for the next day of a game, and then you prep and then it doesn't come. And so there's so many factors that go into it. But at the end of the day, you just got to come out and be ready to play. Again, no excuses, right? We didn't come out and we're ready to play for a full basketball game, and we got to do better at that.
And I know Grants Pass a little healthier, had a guy back that you didn't see the first time they were up here, but I'm sure those guys were kind of chomping at the bit a little bit to get a chance to get back at you guys after losing one up here to you. You might almost kind of use that kind of same mentality with tonight's matchup. Willamette, you guys went up there, had a close one, didn't go in your way. You feel like these guys, for your team, that there's maybe a bit of a revenge factor, wanting to get one back for letting one get away from them when they were up in Eugene?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, especially when we felt like we had an opportunity to win and kind of let slip away. And obviously the growth throughout the season, we hope we've gotten better than they've gotten since that point, and hopefully can put together that whole game tonight and get that revenge.
I know I've been seeing the box scores. I know I haven't been here. I've been watching a lot of the games as Knight's been covering, and then obviously looking at the box scores and writing those up. And obviously we know Bentia is the scoring option that you guys have at the top of the order. But last night we saw, I believe it was Lee Worthy, that was the leading scorer. We've seen other guys get in the action. How do you continue to kind of try and push these guys to maybe take larger roles, to be able to get in on that scoring? What's been kind of the message to guys outside of your number one option to try and maybe take some initiative and be that guy that can kind of help be that secondary option for you out there?
We've definitely talked about it and continue to talk about it. For any team to be successful, you have to have more than one guy that can score, right? And so getting those guys to step up and have games where they're more aggressive, whether it's Jaron or whether it's Harrison or whether it's Caden, who's had some big games for us, having other guys as secondary options so one guy doesn't have to carry the load. That's top to bottom from high school all the way to the NBA, right? Everybody knows that.
Yeah, Kobe had Shaq, right?
Yeah, when Kobe had 81, they lost, right? All right. So those things are always conversations we have, and then also taking, one guy trying to do so much, they get tired, right? And so Owen, learning to trust his teammates and finding guys when they're open and developing that trust between teammates only makes us better. So as they get that success and feel more comfortable being aggressive and confident in themselves, then that's only going to make us a better team to have 2 or 3 options that can score every night.
And I think you kind of maybe touched on this a little bit here, but your process with working with Owen over the last, now that we've seen the graduation of some of the other guys. Micah last year was obviously the guy that was a lot focus of the offense. Now Owen gets to be that kind of piece. But how much of this year has been kind of talking to him about, look, we know that you can score the basketball and you can do a lot out there, but it's there's 5 guys out there. It doesn't have to all be you. look to find your teammates in open spots where they can get good shots.
Yeah, and I mean, that's definitely, I think Owen, everybody sees Owen as the scorer and doing a great job, and he is. Obviously, he's doing a great job, but his job has probably been the toughest all year, right? At the beginning of the year, the conversations with him were, well, you're going to have to carry us as these younger guys figure out this varsity level game of basketball that haven't played any, and so we're going to rely on you a lot more, right? And we're going to go through you a ton, and everything's going to be on your shoulders, and you're going to have to carry the load more. And then as these other guys get better, now the conversation changes. And as for a high school kid, that's still maturing and hearing, yes, coach is saying everything's coming through me, and now we're going to change, and now, okay, I need you to step back a little bit and trust your teammates, and these things we were asking you to do earlier, now we're asking you to change, and that's not easy to do.
Yeah.
And he's super coachable. He's been great to work with. He asks questions, and he's developing that trust. I mean, I've seen in multiple games where guys, don't shoot the ball, and he gets mad at him. Hey, you're a good shooter, shoot the ball. And so he's saying, I trust you. I know you can make it. I'm passing you the ball. You're getting the ball in the right spot. You got to shoot that. We need that as a team. And so him developing that through the year has been awesome to watch, and his expectations of his teammates and himself have done amazing things. And it's fun to watch him be able to grow that way and develop that in the middle of the season.
You guys are getting ready to take on this Willamette team, second go-round through league, so second time you get a chance to see them. We know it was a close one up there, didn't go your way. What'd you learn about this Willamette team that you take into tonight's matchup you hope to be able to kind of put on paper that you guys you use to your advantage or just be able to kind of put into the game plan?
I think I've kind of sent this message ever since I've been here. I mean, we're going to watch and scout other teams, and we're going to see what they do and make a game plan for them. But it comes down to us. It comes down to what we do. I don't think I've ever gone into a game and said, we have to change what we're doing because of them. What we need to do is do what we do well, and make sure we focus on us. And if we do that, then we're going to be fine. The games we don't do that, right? The games that we're struggling with what we do well, and hurt ourselves. And so the message is more about what are we going to do? How are we going to cut down turnovers from last night? How are we going to do a better job blocking out on the defensive end from last night? So those are the messages we send, especially on a back-to-back, right? It's tough. Yeah, all week we've been preparing for stuff for Willamette in each of our practices, not telling them that, right? And so they just know, we keep going over our zone offense. We know Grants Pass doesn't play zone. What are we doing this for? And it's like, well, there's a reason, right? And we're not going to talk about it. We're just going to practice it. And so just about us.
Yeah. All right, Coach. Appreciate it here in the pregame. Have you got a catchphrase, a motto at the end of interviews this season?
No. Nope, I don't.
All right. Well, I appreciate the time and look forward to seeing things out there tonight. Thanks.
Perfect. Thanks, Joey.
That is head coach Jordan Humphreys joining us here on the pregame show here on The Score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM. We've got the live video stream up and running right now at 541radio.com and on our YouTube channel, 1490 The Score there on YouTube as we get ready for tonight's matchup. Our live video simulcast is brought to you by the Cow Creek Tribe. Well, it has been two teams right now that are looking to try and break out of a slump. Roseburg's lost 4 straight, and for Willamette, they've lost 6 straight coming into tonight's matchup. Roseburg averaging 55 points per game, giving up almost 70, and for the Willamette Wolverines, averaging almost 44 points a game and giving up almost 55. A couple of teams that obviously would like to perform a little bit better on the defensive side of the ball, but we'll see how that plays out for both squads going into tonight's matchup. As we get ready for it, looking back at the last matchup, Willamette getting a 61-56 win back on January 12th up in Eugene at the Wolves Den up there. And Harrison Scott scoring a season-high 20 points in that contest, but it wasn't quite enough for the Roseburg boys to be able to pull out a victory. We bring into the broadcast Knight Uretsky, who's been calling games for you here on The Score throughout much of the season. But on a minutes restriction tonight with some vocal cords that are resting up. But Knight, thinking back to that game at Willamette, The Wolverines went into that one. They had not won a league game at that point in time, and Roseburg was kind of hoping that they hadn't won one either, and they were kind of hoping this was their chance to get a league victory under their belt. The first meeting between the two teams obviously didn't work out their way. What stuck out to you from that first game there at Willamette when the Indians went up there to Eugene and lost 61-56?
There's a couple of things that I really thought about after that game, and the first thing that I really thought about was Willamette and how much that win meant for them. This is a program that went winless in Southwest Conference play a year ago. A new head coach this season, Coach O'Connor out there, and so he's just trying to get his squad in the right direction, and to pick up a Southwest Conference win was a big one for Willamette. I remember them celebrating on the floor after the game. Certainly a big moment for that program, but the other thing that stood out to me was the fouls. There was a lot of fouls in that game on both sides. Dan Lanning was in the building, and I don't know if guys got a little bit more aggressive because the Oregon football head coach was in the building with a couple of assistant coaches as well. Tony Cumberland of the Willamette Wolverines, he's committed to the University of Oregon, a 4-star recruit that we saw out here at Finlay Field actually in the fall when he competed against the Indians in football. But there was a lot of fouls. I believe Owen Bentia and Caden Luther both got up to 4 fouls. They were kind of held out most of the second half due to their fouls. You had Tony Cumberland. He actually fouled out for Willamette. Several of their players got up to 3 and 4 fouls as well. So a very physical basketball game the first time through between these two programs. And you mentioned Harrison Scott. He scored 20 points. He had 6 3-pointers in that game, but 5 of them came in the first half. And so if you're Roseburg heading into this matchup, this is certainly a game where you're looking to sustain that throughout the entirety of the game. Now, they are going to have a little bit of a injury issue out on the floor. Not everybody going to be active here tonight, and we'll see how that affects the game plan. But Harrison Scott, after a big performance the first time through against Willamette, he's looking to replicate that here tonight against the Wolverines.
Yeah, the Indians will be without Landon Fanigow tonight. I'm not sure when the injury happened. I believe, he did play yesterday at Grants Pass, so it must have happened at some point there down at Heater Newman Gymnasium, as Roseburg had a makeup game against the Grants Pass Cavemen yesterday. Ended up losing that one 68-36, a game that got postponed due to the weather down in the Rogue Valley. Just traveling that direction, it was difficult because they wanted to make sure that the buses were not on roadways that were going to be super icy or covered in snow. So the game got postponed a couple of days. They made it up yesterday down there, and Fanigow must have gotten dinged up in that one. Had his left ankle, if I'm not mistaken, taped up or wrapped up. He's got crutches, so he is on the bench here tonight, will not be available for the Indians. That is one of their senior starters that has been able to be, he's been running the point, if I'm not mistaken. I've been watching a lot of the games while Knight's been calling those. He's been running the point. He's not necessarily a heavy scorer, averaging just over 6 points a game at the moment, but he's a guy that they trust to have the ball in his hands and bringing it up the floor and initiating the offense. And so that role might go to Owen Bentia, who already handles a lot of things on the offensive side of the ball. They may look to Harrison Scott or Jaron Leeworthy to try and pick up some of that slack. But obviously the loss of Fanigow is a senior leader out there on the floor, one of the guys that came into this season with more experience than most of the roster, and to not have him out there is definitely a bit of a ding to what Roseburg brings to the action tonight.
Well, I'll tell you the other thing, too, is that with Fanigow, he is that facilitator with the ball in his hand, and you may look at the points per game and think maybe he's not scoring that much, but at the same time, this has been a team where it's been a rotating door of who that secondary scorer is going to be behind Owen Bentia, and so there's a lot of guys out there. If you look at Jaron Leeworthy, Caden Luther, Landon Fanigow, and what the numbers they've put up, as well as Harrison Scott, they're right around in the same range, right behind Bentia. And so losing Fanigow, even though it's only a little over 6 points a game, is certainly a big loss when you look at the way that he facilitates and moves the ball with his hand. Oftentimes this season, Owen Bentia has been double-teamed, sometimes triple-teamed, and so that allows the Indians kind of spread their offense around when they have Fanigow with the ball in his hand, and he's able to navigate the defense a little bit more. Harrison Scott, not a ton of ball handling depth so far this season. It's kind of gone Bentia, then towards Fanigow, and then towards Jaron Leeworthy. Probably expect a bigger role from Leeworthy, who's had a couple of big, impressive performances over the last couple of weeks. But it might be one of those things where the offense might be a little bit slower than normal because of the adjustment, not having Fanigow out there on the floor. And the other thing, too, is that if you think about this team, they don't really have like a ton of defensive depth options. And so Fanagau's kind of come in and played a lot of good defense for this team. They've been a rotating door of about 2 guys coming off the bench, 2 guys coming into the game. And so without Fanagau out there on the floor, then you kind of limit your bench a little bit more, and we might see only 6 or 7 guys out there on the floor tonight. Maybe see an increase in play time for a guy like Ashton Palm. Maybe Easton Cantrell gets in a little bit more. Kemmerly's had some good moments. So you might see some younger guys get in there as well with the injury to Fanagau.
Does look as if Ashton Palm is going to be joining the starting 5 with the absence of Landon Fanagau. So we'll have a look at the full starting lineups for you here coming up in just a moment as we get ready to go. It looks like the teams are heading to the bench and getting ready to take the national anthem and then take the floor for tonight's opening tip. It's the 5-15 Roseburg Indians and the 4-15 Willamette Wolverines squaring off here on this Friday night in the Southwest Conference. From Robertson Memorial Gymnasium, we get ready for Roseburg High School basketball here on The Score. We're going to get ready for our final break here of the pregame show. Along with Knight Urensky, I'm Joey Kieran. Happy to be with you here on this Friday night. The band is here. The cheerleaders are over there all dolled up and ready to go. And we've got the student section starting to fill in. It's feeling like a good night here at Robertson Memorial Gymnasium. Looking forward to the action coming up here in just a few. So stay with us, folks. We appreciate you tuning in and joining us for tonight's broadcast. A reminder, the JV game went to the Roseburg Indians, 51-46, your final score there. Roseburg, a comeback victory in the JV game. A nice win there for the Roseburg boys. Roseburg girls are on the road at Willamette tonight. If we get any score updates there, we'll try to pass those along. That's a tough matchup there for the Roseburg girls, as that Willamette team, one of the top teams in the 6A classification in the state. And I was going to let you know also that coming up here at halftime tonight, the Roseburg Unified basketball team is going to have a scrimmage at halftime tonight, so stick around for some coverage of that for you as well. All right, it's time for our final timeout here in the pregame. When we come back, it's ready for action here from Robertson Memorial Gymnasium. We'll be back after this 2-minute timeout here on 541radio.com and on The Score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM.
Successful companies have a very important secret. Good advertising works and makes them money. That's why your business should contact Lotus Media Group. Let us help you cash in with multimedia advertising. Multiple touches from Douglas County's only Google certified partner and most effective advertising platform. Web, broadcast, print. Make it happen. LotusMediaGroupLLC.com.
Do I have enough money put away to retire?
Plan for your future with confidence. At Palm Wealth Management, we'll help you see a clear path to financial peace of mind. Call Palm Wealth Management today.
In today's big box store, how-to YouTube video world, it is hard to do it yourself. If you're fixing your fence or putting in a new one, the only place to start is Quality Fence. We stock almost anything you need and take the time to show you how to really do it yourself. Visit the Quality Fence showroom in Roseburg and get great fencing ideas at QualityFenceCo.com.
Quality Fence is doing it right for you.
Looking for more local sports coverage? CBS Sports Radio 1490 The Score has you covered. Check out our homepage at 541radio.com for sports stories, scores, and podcasts. And follow us on social media. 1490 The Score is on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And take the station with you wherever you go with the 541 Radio app. Download the app in your smartphone's app store and get access to a live stream of the station, sports stories, podcasts, and easy messaging with the station and other.
Taking a look at our starting lineups for the visiting Willamette Wolverines, starting things off here. It's going to be Jacob Hall. Jacob Hall, a senior for the Wolverines, along with Bentley Granberry, another junior, in the starting lineup. Tony Cumberland, a junior, big man in the middle. It'll be interesting to see how rebounding goes for the Wolverines. With the big man there in the middle, he will do most of the damage. Jason Butler, a senior, will be out there on the floor along with Kanan Burke, a sophomore, rounding out the starting five for head coach Jake O'Connor in his first year leading the Wolverines. Now for the Roseburg Indians, their starting five. You're going to have Jaron Leeworthy, a 5'10" guard, a junior, out there averaging almost 7 points a game. Joining him will be Harrison Scott, a junior, just over 10 points a game on the season for Harrison Scott, listed at 5'10". Then you've got Ashton Palm, a senior, listed at 5'11". Hasn't seen a lot of action as a starter this year, but he will get a chance to be in the starting five tonight. Owen Bentia, the senior, leading scorer, averaging over 20 points per game, is 6 feet tall. The honorable mention All-Southwest Conference selection will be out there. And then joining him will be senior Caden Luther at 6'2", the big man in the middle. He's had some big scoring nights at times, and he will look to try and see if he can bang his way in the middle with this rather good-sized Willamette Wolverines squad. All right, we get ready to go for tip-off here tonight from Robertson Memorial Gymnasium. Along with Knight Uretsky, I'm Joey Kieran. Excited to bring you Roseburg High School basketball here on The Score. Opening tip, it's Cumberland in the middle, tipping off against Palm, and it's a quick two. Down low, it was Kanan Burke that gets the opening bucket for Willamette, and the Wolverines are on the board first. Roseburg will have it, player on the ground. That was Bentia. Loose ball ends up underneath. It's Palm, has a wraparound shot, no good. Rebound pulled down for Jason Butler, who will bring it up the left side of the floor. Sends it one-hand push pass to the top. Hall steps into a straightaway three. No, underneath, it's Bentia fighting for the board, and he strips it right out of the hands of Berkeley Granberry, who is going up for a second chance opportunity. Up the near side to Jaron Leeworthy. Over the head, tosses a pass to the left side of the floor for Bentia. Working against the zone defense here from the Wolverines. It's 2-0 here early on. Willamette in front, opening minute of the ball game. Pass to the right elbow to Leeworthy. He got mugged out to Bentia for a deep three, just short. Long rebound comes out and corralled by Butler. He'll pull in the board as the Indians have started 0 for 2 on their offensive side of the floor. Walking across the timeline comes Hall, sends it right side to the wing. Granberry back out to Butler at the free throw line. They're going to work it underneath to Cumberland, who just muscles his way inside, gets a shot redirected by Luther. They go back to him, though, as the Wolverines get it a second time. And Cumberland misses his second opportunity. Now a three, left side, off the back iron, and fight for position on the baseline. They're going to keep it on this side of the floor. The Wolverines will have it as stepping on the baseline. I believe Harrison Scott, who was getting in there to try and get his hands on the rebound, steps on the baseline, gives it back to the Wolverines. Shot clock resets at 35. It's 2-0. A three, not even getting much into the legs on the jump there. And then a putback tip in by Jason Butler. Rolls off the front of the iron. Rebound comes down to the Indians. And a timeout quickly for Roseburg. The Indians will utilize a timeout here early on, trailing 2-0 as we are just a little more than a minute and a half into this ball game. Let's go ahead and take a 30-second timeout here on 541radio.com and on The Score, 92.3 FM at 1490 AM.
How should I be investing my money?
Plan for your future with confidence. At Palm Wealth Management, we'll help you see a clear path to financial peace of mind. Call Palm Wealth Management today.
I'm confused by the huge market swings.
Get a better understanding of your finances. At Palm Wealth Management, we care about your priorities and help restore financial security. Call Palm Wealth Management today.
The Roseburg Indians in the white home uniforms here tonight as they get the ball out of the timeout, their first of the night. Luther sends it right side to Leeworthy. Gets it back to Luther on the wing. Hand it off. Jaron goes to the free throw line. Palm back out left side. Deep three by Bentia. Rattles in and out underneath. Pulling it down, ripping it down, and muscling his way up the floor comes Cumberland. Underhand shovel to the right corner. Butler gives it away. Driving right side. Cole Zumwalt gets stripped of the ball, out of bounds, back to the Wolverines on their own baseline. It's still 2-0, low-scoring affair here early on. 2 minutes and 9 seconds off the game clock. Neither side has found a groove as of yet, but Willamette's had more opportunities. Dump it down underneath, cutting to the basket. Shot blocked and out of bounds back to Wolverines. The shot blocked by Leeworthy. Officials letting this one play out here a little bit. No whistles on that shot block. So a couple of block shots already. Luther with one. Now Leeworthy there with one. Inbound goes out to the top to Cumberland, who's going to attack. Lowers his shoulder, tries to scoop it around Luther. Doesn't get it. Luther with the board. Gets it to Bentia, who saw the pass right down the lane. Found the right alley for Palm, but it was just out of his reach. I don't know if Ashton Palm, who hasn't been on the floor a lot of minutes here this season, was looking for that pass from Bentia. Always got to have your hands ready. 5.5 to go, first quarter. Walking across the timeline through the center circle. Hall angles left side with the dribble to the elbow. Back out to the top. Right side three for Burke. Too long. Rebound pulled down by the Wolverines. Second chance point. Butler goes up, banks it in. Jason Butler will have the second field goal of the night for the Wolverines. Breaks the scoring drought. We haven't had anybody score for almost 2 minutes in the ballgame. Roseburg still scoreless, 4-0, a left side three, and there we go. That will snap the scoreless drought for Roseburg. Harrison Scott with a corner three. Up with the basketball, whip it into the middle, turn face, down to the right blocks. Ball got knocked away from Granberry. Roseburg in transition. Harrison Scott really never did get a full handle on it. And here comes it a chance. I thought maybe Jacob Hall was going to try and throw it down. Instead, he gets the finger roll over the front of the iron. And it's a three-point lead for Willamette. 6-3 on the lay-in. Finishing off after the steal. Ball poked away. Out to Bentia left side. He's going to attack. Goes into the body of Cumberland, who just stays upright. Bentia ends up on the ground. And Cumberland not whistled for anything. I think that was the right call. They make the extra pass to Cumberland, and he will find the weak side lay-in to make it an 8-3 ball game. 5-point lead for Willamette, their largest so far on the night. A teardrop floater from the free throw stripe for Jaron Leeworthy, and gets Roseburg back within three as the offense starting to come for the Indians. 3:53 first quarter. Angling right side goes Hall. The right-hand dribble, hands it off. Granberry whips it left side from the elbow. And that ball too strong, in and out. Spits out of the cylinder for Butler. Looking to go on the attack. Three defenders in the lane taking on Bentia. The ball got knocked away. Skip past baseline, knocked out of bounds by Willamette. Jacob Hall got the hand on it last. Owen Bentia went into three black jerseys just right in the middle of the lane and tried to make the extra pass. Ball got knocked around, but Roseburg was able to keep the possession. And they will have it on their own baseline with 23 seconds on the shot clock. Substitution came in. That is Easton Cantrell into the ball game. Inbound goes right to Luther from the left elbow. No, Cantrell with the offensive board, and he will send it back into Leeworthy. Leeworthy out to Bentia, steps into another deep three, banks it in. It's not a holiday or a weekend. The bank is open for Owen Bentia. That'll tie us up at 8-all on that three. Made the extra pass, almost a walk. Tried to go with a wraparound for Granberry. He had an easy look on it, but couldn't get himself settled on the easy side, then tried to wrap it around. Ball got knocked out, and then last touch by Harrison Scott as he tried to drive baseline. Three-pointer, first points of the night for Owen Bentia. Gets this one tied. Right now the Indians, 2 threes in the ballgame. None from behind the arc for Willamette. Neither team has shot a free throw in the first 5 minutes of this ballgame. Clock's not running right now. There we go. 2:55 and counting. Cumberland left side. Dishes it off. They try to go with the backside cut to him. Lob to the rim. He'll get it, set himself up, and he will get one to fall through as it dances on the iron and drops in. Back in front goes Willamette. Roseburg is not led, but they are able to overcome a 5-point deficit here early on in this one. The zone defensive pressure, steps in the passing lane, takes it away. It's Burke, and now he has it stripped from him as Scott goes the other direction. Scott lobs it to the rim and gets it to fall in. Harrison Scott with 5 points early. Ties us back up at 10-all. 2:20 and counting here in the first quarter. Between the leg dribble for Hall. Cumberland left side. He'll take a three, and it rolls off the right iron. I think Roseburg's okay settling for Tony Cumberland taking 3-pointers. And Cumberland seems to be all right trying to drop him in as well. Bentia will call out the offense. Still working against the zone. Coach Humphreys talking to us about that in the pregame, that they've been working their zone offense leading up for this matchup here tonight. Bentia gets it right side. 14 on the shot clock. He's going to take another deep three. It rattles off. Oh, it's going to be Cantrell whistled for the foul. Easton Cantrell got a hand in there, but I think the continuation of trying to fight for the basketball on the rebound attempt is what will get him dinged up for the first foul. That is actually the first foul called against either team here tonight. Timeout taken down on the floor by Willamette. We're going to go ahead and get in a 30-second break as well here on 541radio.com and on the score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM.
Everest, K2, and now the Mountain by Mountain Mike's Pizza. The biggest pizza this side of the Rockies. The mountain-sized pizza is a massive 20 inches wide, delivering 20 slices and a mountain of toppings. Made with the freshest and finest ingredients. Dough made fresh daily with 100% whole milk mozzarella cheese and toppings to the edge. It's time to go big. Order yours now by using our mobile app.
Minute 45 to go in the first quarters. We're back here at Robertson Memorial Gymnasium. Tonight's game brought to you by Barnes Heating and Cooling, your complete energy company. Visit barnesheatingandcooling.com or call them at 541-459-1545. Splitting a number of defenders. Should have been called for a walk. Doesn't get it, and also doesn't get the shot. Jacob Hall, a miss. Up the floor, Roseburg, a three from Scott left side. No. Fight for the board. Last touched by... There's nobody there to really provide any help, but I think the initial call, it didn't get a hand signal, but I think it was a verbal award of the basketball to Willamette on the miss, and rebound tipped out of bounds. So the Wolverines will have it. We're tied at 10 with a minute 15 to go in the opening period. Left side, Zumwalt into the corner, and a travel called this time. This time in the corner, it's Kanan Burke that gets called for the extra steps. Shuffles his feet, gives the ball back to the Indians. Wearing mostly all black, white numbers, Willamette across the chest in black. No indication of the maroon-red color that is part of their color scheme for the Wolverines on the jerseys tonight. Tried to make an extra pass through this zone defense. Luther's pass kicked out of bounds. It'll stay with the Indians. Jumpman jerseys for Willamette. Roseburg with the Nike jerseys. So Phil Knight making a lot of money here tonight, right? And Michael Jordan, too. Underneath, nice pass and find by Owen Bentia, feeding it to Harrison Scott underneath, and Roseburg has their first lead of the night at 12-10. It comes as we hit the under 1 minute to play mark. On the left side of the floor, sharp pass across the floor, back to Zumwalt, into the left corner, a high arcing three, way too long. Easy weak side rebound for Harrison Scott on the miss by Burke. Scott will walk it up to the midcourt stripe, but nearly had it taken away. We'll have to dribble away from pressure. Shot clock, game clock, practically the same, just a fraction more on the game clock here. Roseburg can hold for the final shot of the first period. Coming to pressure out on the top. Burke on Bentia, who retreats out to the midcourt stripe. Down to 13 on the shot clock. Owen dribbles left side, draws a double team. He's going to take a straightaway deep three off the front iron. No, it leaves some time on the clock, and Scott might have tipped that off of a Willamette player. No, they're going to say out off of Harrison Scott. Boy, that looked like he had thrown it back in off of the... Looked like he had thrown it back off of the Willamette player. UCC coach Daniel Leeworthy over there trying to say it should have been a Roseburg basketball. A three at the horn is off the mark, and we go to the second quarter. Roseburg, after trailing by 5 early, leads by 2. At the end of 1. 12-10 is our score. We take a 1 minute timeout here on 541radio.com and on the score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM.
Hey there, sports fans. Thanks for watching this local sporting event online at 541radio.com. Did you know there's more than one way to watch games online? You can watch games on your laptop or desktop computer, your tablet, or even your smartphone just by going to 541radio.com. But we also use YouTube to stream all of our video broadcasts, which means you could be watching this game on your big screen TV with a number of different streaming devices. You can stream our live YouTube broadcast through your PlayStation or Xbox gaming device, or through streaming devices like Google Chromecast, Apple TV, or Roku. There's plenty of ways to follow this live local sporting event. Plus, you can find past events archived on 1490 The Score's YouTube channel. Find us on YouTube and subscribe today to keep up with the latest in local sports coverage.
After one, it's 12-10. Roseburg in front. Tonight's game brought to you by Neal Company Real Estate. Check out Neal Company Real Estate at nealco.com for the latest listings around Douglas County. Their agents can help you score the home of your dreams. Roseburg basketball to start the second period. Bentia kicks it left side. A wing three by Scott. No good. The rebound long out to Bentia. He'll try a three. No. Long rebound into the corner. Cantrell saves it back in, but it'll be Willamette that comes away with it. Couple of looks to start out, a couple of threes off the mark for the Indians. Up the floor, nearly lost the basketball. That is Hall. Hesitation dribble, has his shot blocked by Leeworthy. That's the second block of the night for Leeworthy. And into the padding, Hall is down. He is not up yet. It's 5-on-4. Bentia makes the over-the-top pass down to Caden Luther, who will have his first points of the night. And Roseburg's on top by 4, their largest mark at 14-10. Up and moving is Hall. He just never got up and made it down to the defensive side of the floor. He'll get it right side. Crossover seems to be all right after crashing into the pads pretty tough here on this shallow baseline at Roseburg. Backing his way in goes Granberry. Hook shot. That's another block shot. That looks like that was Luther on that one. That's his second of the night. Roseburg playing some tough defense in the middle. Bentia gets it at the free throw line, tried to wrap it around to Luther. It somehow makes its way there, and Caden Luther boxes out, gets the bank shot good. He's got Roseburg in front by 6. 4 quick points there for Caden Luther to start the second quarter. On the left side, swinging the basketball through Cole Newton, who is into the game. Cutting to the free throw line, pull-up jumper, no, and mistimed the jump for Granberry after the miss by Newton. And Roseburg with the basketball. Leeworthy got open underneath. His wraparound shot, no. Underneath the rebound and a foul on the floor. Easton Cantrell doing a good job on the glass. Not the biggest guy out there, but he got a nice offensive board and a second chance, and he will draw a whistle against Jason Butler. Butler will pick up his first. Again, we have not had a lot of whistles. I believe that's just the second foul called in the ballgame. Some substitutions. Roseburg will have the basketball on their own baseline. Lob out to Bentia. You've got Bentia, Leeworthy, Scott, Luther, and Jaden Kemmerly has come into the game, the junior. Swing player, has it on the right wing, has it tipped out from behind. A wraparound defensive poke for Jason Butler. You've got Butler out there along with Cumberland. Jaden Garcia into the game for the first time. Cole Zumwalt on the floor. And Cole Newton out there as well. Inbound goes right, just basically handed the basketball to Jaron Leeworthy, and nobody guarding him. He's able to get a teardrop to fall in. He stretches Roseburg's lead to 8. It's been quite the run here for the Indians. It was tied at 10, and Roseburg had a 2-point lead at the end of the first quarter. They've scored the first 6 here in the second. Lee Cutter, left side, kicks back out into the corner, out to the top for Garcia, right side. Zumwalt takes it on the dribble, pulls up at the elbow, gets it to fall through, stops the scoring streak from Roseburg. Zumwalt snaps the 6-0 run by Roseburg. It was an 8-0 overall run. Entry pass to Bentia at the free throw line, almost poked away. His shot doesn't want to stay in. Luther got the offensive board. He sneaks a pass all the way through the defense, driving, and another teardrop for Jaron Leeworthy. Right over the top of Tony Cumberland, who was marking him, and he gets it over the outstretched arms of Cumberland and through the nylon. Left side with the basketball, attacking is Newton, a whistle, as he dished it off into the corner to Butler, who sinks a 3 after the whistle. They will call that foul on Owen Bentia. Student section showing up nicely over there, along with the cheerleaders here tonight. Good to see. Always enjoy having the band here. And Unified Basketball, I see them up in the upper deck. As the ball tipped into the back court, Willamette will keep it. Shot clock down to 28. Looking forward to some Unified Basketball at halftime here coming up. Out at the top, pass left side by Zumwalt. Bounces it to Butler, who gets it down to Cumberland in the left blocks, working against Luther. With the right hand, too strong. Rebound tipped up. Cumberland will get it again. Sneaks a pass out to the top. A three by Garcia. And it spits out. Garcia almost got the bank shot wrap around all the way around the rim. Kimmerly right side for Roseburg. Left hand dribble, takes it back out. It's still the zone defense from the Wolverines. Got to get it somewhere, and double team comes, takes it away. Kimmerly got pressured, didn't know where to go with the basketball, and ends up giving it up. Garcia looks to the sideline. Coach Jake O'Connor sending in the directions for the Wolverines. They trail by 8. Our score 20-12. Roseburg in front. Baseline. Pitch it back out for Newton. Out around the perimeter. They whip it around the world on the right side. Back to the top for Zumwalt. Left wing. Garcia around the perimeter. Shot clock down to 10. Roseburg, tough defense. Driving. Step around. Off the back iron. No. And the rebound comes down to Roseburg after the miss by Butler. Good defense. Now on the other side, quick three by Bentia. That off the mark. Luther got mugged, and he tried to save it in as he was falling out of bounds, and he whips it out to Zumwalt for the takeaway. Luther had bodies all over him. Looked like he was getting mugged on that one. A 30-second timeout here for the Willamette Wolverines. They're second in the first half. Let's get in one more here on the broadcast. It is a 20-12 lead. Roseburg in front of Willamette on 541radio.com and on the score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM.
Find everything you need to enjoy the outdoors, at home or on the road, at Douglas County Farmers Co-op. Our garden center has what you need to create an oasis at home, from patio furniture to plants and everything in between. And whether you're barbecuing at home or tailgating at the game, we stock the best products from Yeti, Traeger, and Weber. Stop by or shop online at DouglasCountyFarmersCoop.com.
Roseburg High School sports here on the score, brought to you by Dr. Lanson Randall Family and Cosmetic Dentistry. Visit drrandall.com or call him at 541-378-6694. 3:31 to go in the first half. Roseburg leading by their largest margin at 8, 20-12. Out of the timeout by Willamette, the Wolverines with it. Jacob Hall has it, left side, being marked by Leeworthy. Bounce it down into the blocks to Granberry, backs his way in. Boy, he got mugged too. And tipped, last touch by Willamette. The Wolverines unhappy with the call. I think unhappy with no whistle, as Granberry got a lot of contact going to the rim, and then unhappy with the decision on whose basketball it was on the out of bounds. But they're letting a lot of physicality play out there. We've seen it on both sides of the floor so far here tonight. Hesitation dribble, Leeworthy out to Kemmerly. His pass tipped, will go out of bounds. Into the game is Tristan Frabel. He is checked in, a sophomore swing player. As mentioned before, Landon Fanigow is out with an injured ankle tonight, so Roseburg looking to call up a few more young guys getting some action here tonight, or guys that haven't necessarily seen a lot of minutes. Kemmerly goes to the bench. Ashton Palm is one of those guys getting a little bit more heavy rotation. He's a senior, so not necessarily a young guy, but he's getting a little bit more time as the ball lost and taken away by the Wolverines. Looking to cut into an 8-point deficit, attacking all the way to the rim and finishing coast to coast goes Jacob Hall. 20-14 the score. Under 3 minutes to go in the first half. Leeworthy right side draws two defenders with the zone. Tip pass gets to Frabel. Pass out at the top, almost poked away. Palm, bounce pass to Bentia. Gets around, but he can't get it to go. Up with a shot. Got hit as he was going up. Luther, no whistle. And ball knocked out of bounds. Out of the hands of the Willamette player. I believe that was Newton that had a handle on it, but got poked out by Roseburg. News review reporter Gloria Coleman down there trying to stay out of the way on the baseline as she's snapping some great photography that you will see in the newspaper and online at nrtoday.com. Check out her photo skills there. little bit of a shout out to our fellow media folks here in the Umpqua Basin. Entry pass underneath, taken away by Roseburg. Owen Bentia takes the steal as the Wolverines tried to force it in the middle. Bentia, right side. Frabel sets up with the deep three. Oh, that one halfway down, spits out of the cylinder. And a board underneath for Newton. Both teams have gone a bit cold offensively here as the second quarter winds down. A lot of dribbling into the corner for Hall. Circles back out. No-look pass to the right elbow. Drawing it back out is Newton. Now to the top for Hall. And his three will hit off the back of the iron, then off the support beam for the basket. 1:49 to go here, first half. Tonight's game brought to you by Chuck Swarm and Family Auto Repair. Are you ready to go where life takes you? Harrison Scott will glance to the sideline where Coach Humphreys in his 6th year sends in the offense. Bounce into the middle for Bentia. Out to Frabel, left side three. That one has no doubt about it. He sinks one and stretches Roseburg's lead out to 9. 23-14, a minute 27 to go. Big three there from the sophomore Frabel. Right side, Burke sends it quickly into the corner for Butler. Skip pass all the way across the floor. Plenty of time to set up, and draining a three on the other side is Cole Newton. First bucket from behind the arc for Willamette, and they're back within 6. 1:06 to go. Owen Bentia just hammered all over the place. Boy, aggressive defense from Willamette, but it draws them a whistle. They will give that to Cole Newton, just the second foul here in the second quarter for the Wolverines, one for Roseburg. Not a lot of whistles. They're letting the aggressive nature go. I think that was part of what happened up at Willamette the last time is the Wolverines. We had a lot of fouls called in that game. Aggressive nature for this Wolverines defense. Looking to drive. Shot blocked as Leeworthy up against Berkeley Granberry, and Granberry wins the battle. 52 seconds to go first half. It's 23-17. Roseburg in front. Willamette with the basketball in the middle. Granberry, a lot of time, has the ball stripped out of his hands. Bentia takes it away. Granberry, frustration on his face. Now the ball poked away and a whistle on the other side. Cole Newton will pick up his second in just about 30 seconds of game action. 39.8 seconds to go. We still have not had a free throw attempted in this first half. Harrison Scott got to get it in somewhere. Will gets it to Frabel, gets it right back. Had his shot blocked from behind, tipped out, and it'll go to the Wolverines with 35.7. Shot clock, game clock, basically the same. 0.7 seconds different. 6-point lead for the Indians. They're trying to hang on to it as we get ready for the halftime break. Wolverines have it. It'll be Hall to bring it up the floor. Out there you've got Burke, Zumwalt, Newton, and Granberry out on the floor for the Wolverines to finish out the first half. Handed off to Burke, gives it away to Newton. The Wolverines holding for the final shot, down to 12 seconds to go on the game clock. Out at the top, Hall with it. Got to get going with the dribble, go around a screen, whips a pass one hand, and it's lost in the corner, out of bounds by Newton. A one-handed hook pass into the left corner. It wasn't quite a perfect pass, but it was definitely catchable, and Newton couldn't handle it. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, pulling up for a three at the horn. The leaner, no. And we go to the halftime break with Roseburg leading 23-17 against the Willamette Wolverines. At the halftime break, a 6-point lead for the Tribe. They led by as many as 9 in that first half. Don't go anywhere here during halftime. We've got some halftime entertainment for you. The Roseburg Unified basketball team is going to be coming up here at the break. So stay with us, folks, as we will recap the first half and let you stay around for some Unified basketball. We'll have coverage of that, too. For those that are watching online, we're not going to be taking commercial breaks here during the halftime. We're going to let you watch the Unified basketball game. So if you're listening on the radio and you want to follow that, you can make sure you head to 541radio.com or our YouTube channel, 1490 The Score, to see the Unified basketball action coming up. It's great to see all the support the program gets and how many student athletes are out there taking part in it each and every year. We'll take a 2-minute timeout, and we will come back on the radio side with your halftime report, recapping the first half here on 541radio.com and on The Score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM. Welcome you back here to Robertson Memorial Gymnasium, where tonight the Roseburg boys are hosting the Willamette Wolverines. 23-17 is our score here at the halftime break. Well, we've got unified basketball going on here at halftime. Roseburg, a inter-squad scrimmage for the unified teams. I know they've met up against Sutherland recently. Sutherland has a really good program. I believe Douglas might have a program. It kind of depends sometimes year to year, but it's always great to see it, and there's been a lot of excitement about it here at the halftime break. The first basket of the halftime drew a huge roar here at the stadium as it went in. Here at the break, though, it's been a good showing so far in the first half for the Roseburg boys. They trailed by as many as 5 in the first period, but they rallied and were able to finish off things strong. Took a 12-10 lead into the second quarter. Roseburg was able to, after the game was tied at 10, they were able to go on an 8-0 run, led by 2 at the end of the first quarter, kept it going in the second quarter, and got a 6-0 run to start the second period, and led 18-10. Willamette would close things down a little bit, but Roseburg finishes strong at a 9-point lead as there is another eruption here at Roseburg High for the unified team at halftime. Roseburg led by as many as 9 in that first half, but close it out on a 6-point lead here at 23-17. In the first half, some team numbers. Roseburg with 3 3-pointers. 1 by Frabel, 1 by Bentia, and 1 by Harrison Scott. For Willamette, just 1 3-pointer came in the second quarter for Cole Newton. Neither team attempts a free throw in the first half. Unofficially, Roseburg with 4 block shots in the first half. I believe it was Jaron Leeworthy with 2 and Caden Luther with 2. So some defense out there for the Indians trying to hound this Willamette Wolverine team. At the break, 23-17 as unified basketball going on here at the halftime break at Robertson Memorial Gymnasium. We'll come back and look at individual stats from the first half and continue to enjoy what's going on with the unified team. Always great to see all the support for everybody in the student body here at Roseburg High School. We'll take another timeout here during the halftime break, and when we come back, we'll look at those individual stats. For those that are watching online, we're going to keep it with the unified basketball game going on as that continues on. Joey Kieran here with you. Knight Uretsky helping out tonight as he's resting the vocal cords, and we're bringing you Roseburg basketball tonight here on The Score. Oh, just off the mark for number 17 there. I think he's hit a couple of baskets. Puts up another one. Oh, just off the mark. We'll take the break. Be back here on 541radio.com and on The Score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM. Back here at Roseburg High School, our score 23-17. Roseburg leading against Willamette Unified Basketball. Roseburg Unified Basketball happening here at the halftime break. Let's take a look at some individual scoring from the first half of tonight's ball game. Start off with the visiting Willamette Wolverines. There we go. There's a bucket for one of those Unified Basketball players out there. You'll love to see it. Leading the way for Willamette here after the first half with 4 points is Jacob Hall. Also Tony Cumberland with 4 in that first half. 3 for Cole Newton. You had 2 points for Cole Zumwalt and 2 points for Jason Butler. The 1-3 made in that first half by Cole Newton. On the other side for Roseburg, leading scorer with 7 was Harrison Scott. He scored all 7 of his points in the first quarter. Had a 3-pointer that first quarter to start out the scoring for Roseburg. 6 points in the first half for Jaron Leeworthy, scoring 4 in the second period. You had 4 points for Caden Luther, scoring 2 quick buckets to start out the second quarter. And then you've got 3 points for Owen Bentia, 3 points for Tristan Frabel in there as well, both of them with a made 3-pointer. Roseburg Unified basketball wrapping up their scrimmage out there at the halftime break. That is a look at our scoring from the first half of tonight's ball game. Roseburg's leading it 23-17 here at the break after the Roseburg JV team got a 51-46 win in the game prior, a comeback victory there for the JV squad, and they were able to pull off the emotional win. We'll see if the Roseburg varsity able to repeat that and come away with a win here in the varsity matchup tonight after a loss on the road at Willamette. They're looking to try and make up for the loss up there in Eugene and get a second win in conference play here tonight. All right, we're going to go ahead and take our final break of the halftime show. When we come back, we will get you ready for the second half as the teams make their way out of the locker rooms. We'll have a breakdown of what's coming up for Roseburg basketball when we return here on 541radio.com and on The Score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM.
At Douglas County Farmers Co-op, we want your four-legged friends to be healthy and happy. That's why we stock a carefully curated selection of pet, equine, and livestock supplies. From the premium foods your pets crave to grooming and show supplies that help you shine in the show ring, you'll find it at Douglas County Farmers Co-op. Our knowledgeable staff are here to help with those tough pet and livestock care questions. Stop by or shop at DouglasCountyFarmersCoop.com.
It's time to get your game on with Mountain Mike's oven roasted chicken wings. They're meaty, juicy, in 4 bold sauces ready to tempt your taste buds. And they're hand sauced and tossed for every order. It's game on with Mountain Mike's Pizza oven roasted chicken wings. Get your wings today. Order online or on our app for carryout or delivery.
Just about done with our halftime break here at Robertson Memorial Gymnasium. The Roseburg Indians leading 23-17 on top of the visiting Willamette Wolverines. Just saw the commercial on the video stream for Mountain Mike's Pizza, a proud sponsor of Roseburg High School sports here on The Score. Mountain Mike's at the corner of Bellows and Harvard in Roseburg. Pizza the way it ought to be. And that made me think of the commercials about wings and watching sports, and it reminded me the Super Bowl is coming up here this weekend. On Sunday, tune in for Super Bowl 59 right here on The Score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM. Coverage starts from Westwood 1 at 11 o'clock Sunday morning. That'll be plenty of in-depth pregame coverage leading into the game. Kickoff, I believe, for the Super Bowl around 3 o'clock Sunday afternoon. So it's always hard to tell. There's so much pregame leading into the Super Bowl that it's like, I don't know exactly when the game is supposed to start, but I know that everybody's going to be talking about it all Sunday, and there's going to be tons of coverage leading into it. But if that's your thing, if you're into sports, you want to get ready for the game, you can tune in here on The Score. Maybe if you got some errands to run before the game, you got some last-minute grocery shopping to do, you can kind of get yourself in the mood for the big game right here on The Score. You looking forward to I know you're looking forward to the Super Bowl.
Absolutely. I just think it's crazy every year that we always are guessing what time kickoff's going to be. Like, I wish it was just kind of like baseball where they told you the first pitch time, because even if you're going to a baseball game and you know the game's a 7 o'clock game, they'll say 7:05 first pitch.
Yeah.
And typically the first pitch is at 7:05. I'm not a fan of it being like, well, kickoff's at 3, but then it goes all the way till 3:30.
Like 3 o'clock is like the
and it happens in hockey and basketball too, you know. I wish there was just a quicker way that they could just relay that information or put that information out there a little bit beforehand in hopes of trying to allow the fans to just kind of figure out their own schedule back at home in comparison to the fan that's just sitting at home on the couch trying to wait when they probably could have been out and getting groceries for an extra 40 minutes. Nonetheless, though, I think that we need to move more towards a model of football or baseball in football where they tell you the kickoff time beforehand.
I would agree with you. That always drives me crazy. Look, I mean, we're in media, we're in broadcasting. We understand there's a pregame. Look, I tell people tune in at 6:30 for Roseburg basketball. Well, the game doesn't start until usually about 6:45. Sometimes we get a slide, as they like to call it, at the higher levels. It's never anything announced.
You just know with the 3 o'clock they're going to throw in the national anthem because that's a lot of money right
God
there.
God Bless America. You're going to have the national anthem. You're going to have all sorts of other pomp and circumstance that goes on prior to the game. And, maybe we'll get started at about 3:20 with that game actually getting underway. All right, Knight Uretsky here joining us. He's been on a minutes count here tonight, so I've got the play-by-play duties for you here. But Knight, obviously, just kind of like the nature that they're allowing these two teams to be physical out there after the first half of basketball here at Roseburg.
Maybe that's the difference between the Lane County refs and the Douglas County refs down here in Roseburg. A lot less whistles this time through.
It'll be Willamette starting with the basketball. And they will get a second chance opportunity, but they miss on both. Kanan Burke got the rebound. A third attempt, no, underneath. Granberry has it stripped out of his hands, last touched by Willamette, and Roseburg will get the basketball after with 3 attempts to start out this second half for the Willamette Wolverines, and that continues to be a bit of a trend. Them unable to strike while the iron's hot right underneath the basket. Starting the second half for Roseburg, you've got Bentia, Leeworthy, Luther, Scott, and Kemmerly out on the floor. Kemmerly is the only non-starter out there. They give the quick pass, give and go with Luther and Bentia, but Owen too strong off the glass. Bank shot rolls off the front of the iron, and down the other direction we go. Now moving left to right on your radio dial is Willamette in the black jerseys. Tony Cumberland attacks against Luther, gets bodied up and draws a foul. That's the first against Caden Luther. And with Roseburg being a little limited on their depth, staying out of foul trouble is big for this Indians team, and the fact that we didn't have a lot of whistles early on definitely helps out with that. Tony Cumberland will head to the free throw line. He's got 4 points in the game. Coming off, he was the leading scorer with 10 points in the game on Tuesday, a loss against Sheldon, 56-31. He'll hit the first free throw of the night for either team. That was the first free throw attempted and the first free throw made. Makes it a 5-point game with one more free throw coming. Cumberland, the football recruit for the University of Oregon, at the line. Right-handed shooter, drains them both. Actually, you might wipe off one of those. Was it a lane violation or was it just a foul? They don't put a foul up on the scoreboard. They haven't taken a point off the scoreboard yet. It's 23-19, but it might be 23-18 if they call the lane violation and waved off that last free throw. Roseburg enters in too far underneath, and they will turn it over on the baseline. I think they're getting an explanation at the scorer's table. I believe they waved off that free throw, so I think it's 23-18 as they get the scoreboard all situated up there. To the free throw line, Tony Cumberland enters it down underneath, lost the handle on it. Butler turns it over. Yeah, out of bounds to Roseburg. They need to get the score. They need to get the scorer's table set up. I have 23-18. And they're trying to get it all straightened out over there as well. There we go. Well, they gave Roseburg an extra point. 23-18. Roseburg hasn't scored in this quarter. 23. Yeah, there we go. They're getting it straightened out down there. 6:43 to go here in the third quarter. Roseburg basketball after the turnover by the Wolverines. Out at the top, Leeworthy. Pass right side to the wing for Kemmerly. Draws it out, pushes into the corner. Leeworthy draws back out. Kemmerly tries to split two defenders. This zone defense all over Roseburg, and Willamette will come away with the steal. 6:18 and counting. here in the third quarter. Willamette trying to cut into a 5-point deficit. Cumberland has it, right blocks, out to the top. A catch and shoot for Jacob Hall. It rims off, and Leeworthy comes in for the rebound. Roseburg yet to score here in the second half. Kemmerly thought about a three, now will set up, launches the rainbow shot. No, it's all Willamette underneath, and it's Cumberland that comes away with it. Biggest player on the floor, looks to attack, had it stripped out of his hands, and Bentia will get whistled for the reach-in. Roseburg basketball on the score tonight brought to you by Flyaway Travel. Contact the travel experts at Travel Leader Flyaway Travel. Make sure that you have an agent in your corner. Call 541-672-5701. Shooting foul is what they're going to call for Tony Cumberland. Not sure I would have seen it that direction, but Cumberland at the line where he is 2 of 2 so far, and he'll miss the first of 2 free throws here. Tonight's game also brought to you by Fisher's Hearth and Home, serving Douglas County for over 30 years with the largest selection of wood, gas, pellet, and electric stoves and fireplaces in the area. One more free throw, no good as well, and Luther down with the rebound. So after going perfect at the line his first trip, Tony Cumberland misses both on his second trip to the line. Kemmerly sends it to Leeworthy at the top. They kick it left side, an open look at a three for Bentia, and you can't leave him that open as he drains his second of the night. Big three there for Roseburg, stretching the lead back out to 8. And now a steal by Scott, stepped in the passing lane. He goes one-on-one, step around, had some contact, but he puts that one right through. Awkward shot, somehow gets it to go through. And Roseburg's out to their largest lead of the night. Just like that, they get to a 10-point lead. Driving in, hanging in the air, almost gets a scoop shot. Cleaning up the glass, Tony Cumberland there with the putback 2. Jacob Hall, that was almost going to be a beautiful highlight shot. Couldn't get it to go down. All across the floor, Bentia, another look from the same spot, but it rims out. Right there is Scott for the easy look at it. Putback, can't get it to go, but it's a third attempt. Out to the top, Bentia steps into another three. He can't finish it off on the pass from Leeworthy. Tipped out, Roseburg basketball. 4:42 here in the third quarter to go. 28-20, Roseburg in front. Substitution, Cole Zumwalt will come in to the game, checking in for Jason Butler. Inbound goes right into Leeworthy, and the Wolverines weren't even looking. And Caden Luther takes advantage as he puts an easy bank shot through. The Wolverines weren't even ready for the inbound pass, and Roseburg takes advantage. Pass across the floor. Granberry sends it back out to the right wing. Zumwalt down to Cumberland. Double team. Tip pass. It gets to Zumwalt into the corner. Back down to the baseline for Cumberland. He tries to fight through a double team. And a non-shooter here is Tony Cumberland. Will get the whistle. This is going to go against Bentia, who will pick up his third. And Bentia throws up his hands. I honestly don't recall if he was one of the two guys double teaming, but he's surprised he gets the foul call on that one. They enter right into the middle to Granberry. He had that shot redirected, tip into the back court, and Willamette will let it go out of bounds. It will be Wolverines basketball. And all the officials are signaling, yes, Willamette basketball. Cannon Burke let that ball go out of bounds, knowing that he would get it back. Inner pass underneath for Newton, out to the far side. A high arcing three rattles through for Cannon Burke. His first three of the night. Much needed points there for the Wolverines. 7-point game, 3:51 to go third quarter. Leeworthy has some space, steps to the free throw line. Back iron, no. Long rebound out to Burke. Hall will bring it across with the right-hand dribble. Between the legs, goes between the legs once again. Dribbles right hand into the corner. Skips a pass out to the top for Zumwalt. Back to Hall. Faked right. Tried to go back to his left hand. Lost it. Gets it back now from Zumwalt. Pass across the floor. Burke with it, tries to attack, spin move to his left, pulls up for the jumper, and that was a pretty move there. Makes it a 5-point game, 30-25. Roseburg went on a run, get it to 10 points, and now Willamette has rallied back, and they have made it a 5-point game. Leeworthy drew 2 defenders, made the extra pass to to Luther. As he was driving, he does get fouled. The foul goes against Cannon Burke. That's the first on Burke. Inbound, goes into the right corner. Leeworthy, three, does not fall. A lot of shots just rattling around and out of the cylinder tonight for both sides. Low-scoring game, 30-25 right now, 2:56 to go, third quarter. Roseburg with the 5-point lead. Tip pass makes it to Hall. Drives, pulls up, jumper, no. Put back attempt for Granbury, no. Luther with the rebound. Another big one for the man underneath. Bentia, left side, he's hit a couple of threes here in this third quarter. Gets a whistle for a reach-in foul by Willamette. It's going to be against Jacob Hall. I have that down for his first. It is. Second team foul against Willamette here in the third quarter. Inbound from the baseline for Harrison Scott. He initiates the inbound play. Got to find somewhere. Lob it out to Bentia, who receives it on the near sideline in front of his own bench. Hooks the pass out to Scott, left corner, and off the front iron. Rims out to Zumwalt. He's got it in transition. Takes it into the front court. Waits for the rest of his team to get back there and help him out, as he did not have the numbers. Across the floor to Hall on the right side. Surveying underneath is Roseburg with their zone defense. Granbury working against Bentia. Stays in front of him. Kick out. Hall, a three. No. And tipped out. Roseburg basketball. No, they're going to call a foul on Granbury on the rebound attempt. That'll be the third on Willamette, first on Granbury tonight. Easton Cantrell will check into the game. The senior comes in for junior Jaden Kemmerly, who started the second half. Roseburg leading by 5. They led by 6 at halftime. Is quickly up the floor. Jaron Leeworthy taking the initiative, goes right to the rack, draws the whistle. They'll call a second on Granbury in just a couple of minutes there. That'll get Tony Cumberland up off the bench. He'll head to the scorer's table to check in and come into the ball game. He'll go in for Berkeley Granbury, who checks out with his 2 fouls. Inbound goes out to Leeworthy at the top, attacks, gives it away to Bentia, who got his pass or his shot tipped. He went to the floor trying to draw a whistle, doesn't get it, and Willamette comes away with the loose ball. Enter it down to Cumberland. He draws a crowd, has it poked away by Bentia. It goes right to Scott in transition. Hall steps in front of Harrison Scott and will pick up his second. Well, for the lack of fouls called in the first half, we're definitely getting quite a few here in the second half in this third quarter. It's going to be the 5th team foul against Willamette, and that'll put Roseburg at the free throw line. Neither team has scored in a little bit here. Roseburg was up, I believe, 30-20 for their 10-point lead, and then a quick 5-0 run by Willamette got them back within 5, and neither team has scored for quite a while since. Left-handed shooter Harrison Scott too strong on his first free throw attempt, and that is the first free throw attempt for Roseburg on the night. Tristan Frabel checks in for Roseburg. Scott with his second free throw knocks that one through. Owen Bentia getting a breather here. He's been out there a lot of minutes. So Roseburg with Cantrell, Scott, Leeworthy, Luther, and Frabel on the floor. A shot too strong from the baseline. Cannon Burke with the air ball. Scott in transition, trying to work it up the floor quickly. Push pass out to Cantrell. Out to Scott for a deep 3. The lefty just off the mark, but Luther, the offensive board, finds a baseline pass to Cantrell, who gets swiped from behind. Cole Newton going to pick up that foul. A whistle against the senior, his third. And back to the line will go Roseburg in the bonus here in the third quarter. Easton Cantrell at the stripe. Have him down as a 78% free throw shooter on the season. 1:22 to go in the third quarter. First free throw goes through. Tonight's ball game has been sponsored by DC Farmers Co-op, where everyone is welcome to shop, and by Cascade Community Credit Union, belong to Douglas County. One more for Cantrell. He goes 1 of 2 at the line. It is 32-25. Roseburg in front by 7. They were up by 6 at halftime. Struggling to get the ball across the timeline was Garcia. He got it to Cumberland. He goes right to the rack, took some contact, fights through it, and Tony Cumberland, he's got 5 in the quarter. And brings it back to a 5-point game, 32-27. Cumberland with 9 in the ball game. Sorry, make that 10. He has got 6 in the quarter. Cantrell out at the top between the circles, sends it left side to Frabel. 45 seconds to go. Enter it down. Luther, all sorts of space. They don't mark him, and he'll just drop it in. I think Caden Luther deserves a little more respect than that. He can put the ball through the basket, and he does right there. 34-27 from about 8 feet. Unable to get it to drop was Zumwalt, but an offensive board underneath, and Tony Cumberland doing a lot of work right underneath the basket. Gets the offensive board, goes up, but fouled, and will head to the line for another 2 chances at the stripe. Sponsoring Roseburg basketball this season, McClendon Smokehouse. Also want to say thanks to Centennial Orthopedics, sports injuries, and more. It's your move. Visit centennialorthopodiatry.com. Cumberland, 2 free throws coming up. He missed his last 2. Deep knee bend, and he puts through that one. Bentia will check back into the game for Caden Luther, who gets a chance to get a breather. I don't know if Luther's come off the floor tonight so far. He'll get to the bench for a quick breather here in the final 28 seconds of the third quarter. Don't forget, tonight's game is streaming with video online at 541radio.com and on our YouTube channel, 1490 The Score on YouTube. You can find it streaming there, and you can watch it. Hit the subscribe button to make sure you don't miss our next broadcast of local sports here on The Score. It's brought to you by the Cow Creek Tribe. Second free throw, no good for Cumberland. Roseburg with the rebound, 15 seconds. They lead by 6, 34-28. Owen Bentia hounded, and he cannot get the ball back into a teammate. He was hounded out high away from the basket. Got bumped quite a bit, does not get a whistle. He wanted one desperately. Turns it over. 8 seconds to go in the period. 6-point game for the Indians. Crossover. Hall, a 3. Front iron, no. Rebound down to Bentia. He hucks it three-quarter court. It will not go, and that's the end of 3. Roseburg still up by 6, 34-28. A 1-minute timeout here on 541radio.com and on The Score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM.
My wife and I moved to Oregon to raise a family, set our roots, and to have a lot of fun outdoors. We quickly realized that we needed a truck or a rig for the projects that we were doing in the backyard. When we were looking to find a place to finance our truck, we asked our patients, and everyone recommended Cascade Community Credit Union. It was so easy to work with Cascade. Everything was done via email, phone, and we didn't even need to go in. I can't wait to finish up the projects in the backyard, go on more adventures in our truck with our boys, and I look forward to working with Cascade again in the future.
Brook Communications radio stations have joined forces with the News Review and Lotus Web Services, announcing the Lotus Media Group, a multimedia enterprise. Web, broadcast, print. Make it happen with Lotus Media Group, LLC.com.
(34-28) as we head to the fourth quarter here at Robertson Memorial Gymnasium. Roseburg in front of Willamette. Your leading scorers in double figures, 11 for Tony Cumberland and Willamette, and 10 for Harrison Scott and the Roseburg Indians. Roseburg will get the basketball to start the fourth quarter. Owen Bentia gets it on the inbound, goes right to the rack, and he will bank it in, rattles it around and through. And Bentia now with 8 in the ball game gets that one to go, makes it an 8-point ball game. Roseburg led by as many as 10 in the third quarter. Pass too high through the hands of Garcia, taken away by Tristan Frabel, and Roseburg will get it back, leading by 8. On the attack, here goes Harrison Scott, the left hand. He gets it to go! And 1 for Harrison Scott. Harrison Scott with the bucket after the turnover by Willamette, and he will go to the free throw line looking for the three-point play. The left-handed shooter will make it. Nice bucket and the foul for Harrison Scott to make it now 39-28. Largest lead of the night for Roseburg at 11. Roseburg will apply some full court press. Tony Cumberland has it. He'll step around Bentia and lays it in. I see that move all the time at the office. Knight Urensky constantly doing that to me in the hallways. Bentia brings it up across the timeline. Throws it left side, 9-point lead for Roseburg. Scott goes baseline, pull-up jumper from 10 feet. Harrison Scott having himself a night. He gives Roseburg 41, back to an 11-point lead. Cumberland racing through everyone, and he will draw a foul. This one goes against Tristan Frabel, the sophomore. Inbound, not a shooter here. We reset the foul count each quarter, so first on Roseburg. Both teams with one so far. We are 1 minute into the fourth quarter. An 11-point lead for the Tribe, looking for their second conference win. Driving, splitting the defense, got to the line, some contact. Jacob Hall looks for the whistle, does not get it. Up the floor, Roseburg after the stop. Frabel launches a three. It's halfway down before it spits out. And back into the hands of the Wolverines. Man, so many shots that were so close here tonight. 6:38 to go. Tony Cumberland on the hesitation, almost had it taken away by Frabel. Now he lost the handle on it, tipped up in the air, and almost taken away in the backcourt, but Scott hangs on to it. Harrison Scott will bring it into the front court, working against Tony Cumberland, who's surprised he gets whistled for the foul. But that definitely looked like a reach-in, but I think he's surprised that he didn't get that whistle on the other side when he had the ball in his hands. That's the first on Tony. And Cumberland will head to the bench. Quick pull there, a quick leash on him going to the bench with just his first foul. That'll bring back into the game Jason Butler, the senior. Cantrell, pass it away left side. They work it through the zone defense. Bentia gets it, turnaround in the lane. That's high off the iron, pulled down by the Wolverines. 2 minutes away in the fourth quarter. It's an 11-point lead. Willamette facing their largest deficit. Turnaround, pull-up jumper. That one right through the heart of the basket for Jacob Hall, the senior. He's got 6. 41-32. Right side, Harrison to Cantrell. Whips the pass left side to Frabel. Bounce it into the middle. That ball tipped by Willamette, but it gets to Bentia. He finds Cantrell wide open, makes the extra pass to Caden Luther, who gets the easy weak side bucket. And a timeout taken by Roseburg as they lead it 43-32. Back to an 11-point lead, their largest of the night. We'll go ahead and take a 30-second timeout here on 541radio.com and on the Score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM.
Successful companies have a very important secret. Good advertising works and makes them money. That's why your business should contact Lotus Media Group. Let us help you cash in with multimedia advertising. Multiple touches from Douglas County's only Google certified partner and most effective advertising platform. Web, broadcast, print. Make it happen. LotusMediaGroupLLC.com.
5:40 to go here in the fourth quarter as we hit the 8 o'clock hour. Let's go ahead and get a chance to break for a station identification. This is Roseburg basketball here on the Score. (43-32) your score. Roseburg in front by 11. And that matches their largest lead of the night. That's come here in the fourth quarter twice. They continue to put some pressure on in the backcourt as Easton Cantrell back there. Willamette will get it across the timeline, but about 7 seconds off the shot clock before they get it into the front court. A straightaway three from the top. Jason Butler off the mark. Rebound pulled down by the Tribe. Roseburg will slow it down a bit here as Harrison Scott walks it into the front court. He'll angle with the right-hand dribble right side. Back to Cantrell between the circles. Frabel left side. Roseburg's been doing a good job of finding ways to slice through the defense, the zone defense. Straightaway three. Bentia gets his third of the night. Owen Bentia with a three. He's got 11 in the ball game. And he makes it a 46-32 lead, 14-point advantage, and it's a turnover by Willamette, a carry call on Jacob Hall. 14-point ball game, Roseburg in front with 4:50 to play. Indians lost a close one in Eugene against the Wolverines. They're looking for a little bit of redemption here tonight. Jaron Leeworthy will have it. Heavy minutes for the starters. Leeworthy, Bentia, Luther, and Scott. They've been out there a lot. Wide open underneath. Didn't even need to watch. Owen Bentia headed back to defense as he finds Caden Luther underneath for an easy 2. It doesn't get any easier than that. 16 is your lead for Roseburg. No look pass left side, driving in. Pull-up jumper off the mark. Leeworthy with the bucket, or with the rebound. He'll face some pressure, gets it across, and then he throws it right to a Willamette guy. One-on-one, a left-hand lay-in is good for Cannon Burke. And Burke with the bucket stops the run by Roseburg. It's a 14-point game. 48-34, timeout down on the floor by Willamette. We're going to go ahead and sneak in another 30 seconds here for you on 541radio.com and on the score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM.
How should I be investing my money?
Plan for your future with confidence. At Palm Wealth Management, we'll help you see a clear path to financial peace of mind. Call Palm Wealth Management today.
I'm confused by the huge market swings.
Get a better understanding of your finances. At Palm Wealth Management, we care about your priorities and help restore financial security. Call Palm Wealth Management today.
Tonight's ball game has been brought to you by Palm Wealth Management, a member of D.A. Davidson & Company, member SIPC. And by Bowers Industrial, a proud supporter of our local community and youth sports. And, of course, don't forget Gibbs RV. You got to get to Gibbs. Going on down at the Douglas County Fairgrounds, the Sportsman and Outdoor Recreation Show happening down there. Going on here through the weekend. Check that out. It's a place to, I'm sure Gibbs is down there displaying some RVs to check out. That's something I've always thought would be really cool to have. I just don't know if I have any time to actually go out and use an RV. Out of the timeout, 48-34. Roseburg in front with the basketball, facing some intense pressure from Willamette, and the Wolverines thought they had the turnover. Ball got tipped and out of bounds, and last touch by the Wolverines, according to the Stripes. Roseburg will have Frabel, Scott, Bentia, Luther, and Leeworthy on the floor. Owen Bentia angles right side, beginning marked by Zumwalt. Gives it away at the right elbow to Luther, and a whistle away from the basketball. Zumwalt going to get called as he tries to blanket Owen Bentia. Speaking of Owen Bentia, found out that after an amazing conversation with Coach Jarvis, Owen is proud to announce that he's received his first college offer and scholarship to play basketball at Missouri Baptist University. Congratulations to Owen Bentia on earning himself the opportunity to continue playing. We'll see if any more scholarship offers come along. Fighting his way through a couple of defenders, Jacob Hall goes to the right side of the rack, gets mugged as he goes up, and he will draw himself a couple of free throws here. Foul goes against Tristan Frabel, who picks up his third. That is the second on Roseburg here in the fourth quarter. First free throw for Jacob Hall rims out. I need to check the size of these baskets, man. There have been just so many shots that have just not wanted to stay in the ball or in the cylinder. There's one that goes down for Jacob Hall. 48-35 is our score. Roseburg in front. Leading by 13. Largest lead was 16. Behind the back pass, that would have been pretty, but Owen Bentia catching Caden Luther off guard. That's the former Roseburg football quarterback to the Roseburg tight end, and they couldn't complete that one. Out at the top. Pull up for a three, Hall. It rims off. Bentia underneath for the rebound. 3:23 to go. Bentia will walk it up. Out at the top of the key. Luther holding. Hands it off. Bentia doesn't need much space. Gets the shot off. Knocked to the ground. It doesn't fall. Up to Cole Newton. Pass left side. Driving baseline. The wraparound won't fall for Zumwalt. Did a nice job getting on the reverse, coming up underneath, but could not get it to go down. Under 3 minutes to go. Still a 13-point lead for Roseburg. Trying to hold off this Willamette club. Granberry tries to punch it away from Luther. He hands off to Bentia. Spin back to his left. Draws the whistle as he goes up. And that should send Owen Bentia to the free throw line for 2. They call that foul on Zumwalt. And that'll be the second on Zumwalt. Audience on the YouTube stream letting us know that if you head on down to the Sportsman Show, make sure you stop by the booth for the Douglas County Prospectors Club. So there you go. Thanks everybody for watching online and joining in on the action on there as well. We appreciate everybody tuning in. 2:43 to go in the contest. Bentia at the free throw line. He'll knock down the first. His first free throw of the night. Tristan Frabel, some good minutes here tonight. Played well. He's hit a 3 in the game, but he's done a nice job out there, stepping up and helping provide some minutes off the bench. Second free throw for Bentia, no good. 49-35. Quickly up the floor, Jacob Hall knew that he had no time to waste. Hall gets slammed into the padding behind the basket, and that got head coach Jake O'Connor up off the bench. He hollered something at the officials, and he'll pick up a technical. Not happy that Jacob Hall got shoved into the padding behind the hoop, and O'Connor arguing for his player on why no foul called there, and that gets O'Connor a technical. At the line, Harrison Scott will hit the first of the technical free throws. And Harrison Scott will get the second as well. 51-35. Coach Humphreys walks out towards the midcourt stripe. Says something to the Willamette bench, almost as if, I don't know why that wasn't called a foul either. Out at the top, Harrison Scott working against Cole Newton. Luther comes to provide some help. Bentia catch and shoot 3. Rattles off, fight underneath, goes to Willamette on the out of bounds. 2:19 to go in this ballgame. Live video coverage is brought to you by the Cow Creek Tribe. Into the game is Cameron McCann for the first time. McCann, the junior, got it on the left side. Out to Garcia at the top. Underneath the Granberry. Back out Garcia. Underneath. Had his shot blocked from behind by Harrison Scott. I'd say that's probably block number 6 at least on the night for Roseburg. They've been able to get their hand on the ball quite a bit here tonight. Inbound goes to the left corner. A high arcing 3 drops in the bucket for Cole Zumwalt. 51-38 and a foul in the backcourt as Willamette looks to amp up the defensive pressure, trying to see if they can make this interesting in the closing 2 minutes of the ball game. We're into the bonus here for Roseburg, so the Indians will have free throws. Going to the line is going to be Owen Bentia, as that is the second foul called against Jaden Garcia. Bentia nailing the first. 2 of 3 at the free throw line. Jaden Kemmerly heads to the bench as back into the game comes Ashton Palm. The sub checking in for Roseburg. Second free throw for Bentia. He goes 1 of 2 at the line for a second time. Up the floor, pass near side for Zumwalt. Working against Leeworthy. Crossover left side. Garcia sends it. Left side 3 is too long for McCann. Easy weak side rebound by Leeworthy. Scott facing some pressure in the backcourt. Draws a whistle on a reach in by Zumwalt.
Number 3, Cole Zumwalt.
A minute 36 to go in this one. Roseburg will be at North Medford for their next game coming up on Tuesday. Granted, next week, weather does seem like it could play an issue once again, so hopefully we don't have a repeat of this week, but you never know. We'll be keeping an eye on that one. First free throw is good for Scott. We do I want to say apologize because we did everything we could to try and bring you the last game against Grants Pass, but wish we could have been there for the game against the Cavemen down at Heater Newman, but unfortunately with the schedule changes, just we're unable to make that work yesterday. No look pass into the middle. McCann pulls up for the jumper from 6 feet, and Cayman McCann has his first points of the night. 54-40. Been as much as a 16-point lead for Roseburg as Harrison Scott got around his defender. Cole Newton grabs the jersey to slow him down. And that'll send Harrison Scott back to the free throw line. Got some substitutions getting ready to come in. Hopefully the weather, though, will give us no problems for next week at North Medford and at South Medford, the next two games, but those are a week apart as Scott will hit the first. 7 of 9 at the free throw line for Harrison Scott as Owen Bentia gets a round of applause, heads to the bench. So does Caden Luther, the two seniors doing a lot of work here. Luther, I've got him down for 12 points in the ball game as Harrison Scott hits another free throw. 56-40, back to a 16-point lead. Left side, a 3, too long. Granberry with the rebound. Tried to make a pass as he got double-teamed and trapped on the baseline. Nobody to go to, but a steal and now a bucket and a foul. And the Cole Newton gets the steal, gets the bucket, and will head to the line for a three-point play. Out there on the floor for Roseburg right now, you got Harrison Scott, Jaron Leeworthy, Jaden Kemmerly, Ashton Palm, and Gannon Egbert, a sophomore, getting a chance to see some minutes here with 61 seconds left to go in the ballgame. At the free throw line, Cole Newton knocks down his and one. 56-43. So Roseburg's got a game on Tuesday as Zumwalt will commit another foul. Roseburg plays Tuesday at North Medford, then they will have a Friday off and then play the following Tuesday at South Medford. So a couple of road trips down there to the Rogue Valley. Right now, the league standings has North Medford in second and South Medford in third. At the line, Jaron Leeworthy. First trip to the stripe for him. He hits the first. Harrison Scott will get a round of applause. He's had a huge fourth quarter. He heads to the bench. Into the game, Tristan Frabel. And getting ready to check in will be Easton Cantrell, who will come in for Jaron Leeworthy. Leeworthy hits the second of his free throws. Leeworthy checks out with 8 points. Harrison Scott, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 points here in the fourth quarter. He's got 21 in the ballgame. Big night for Harrison Scott. Right side, Zumwalt launches a wing three. It clanks off the iron, fighting for the offensive board. It's another opportunity at an and one as Cole Newton fights for the offensive board and the putback two.
Number 35, Jaden Kimberly. Newton is the line with one shot.
The shot goes through on the and one for Newton. 58-46 our score. A whistle in the backcourt. Willamette wanted a double dribble call. They're not going to get that. We walk the other direction here. It's a 12-point game. Willamette continues to play aggressive defense and getting whistled 4 fouls. At the free throw line, Tristan Frabel sinks the first. One more coming for Frabel here. Launches it up and puts it in. Frabel will have 5 in the ball game. 60-46, Roseburg in front. Down to 35 seconds. A 3 from the corner. Looked like that might have been tipped by Kemmerly. Offensive board, though. Back out to the top, another 3. This one off the mark by Newton. Kemmerly with the rebound. Willamette does get a steal. Cole Newton, step around. That probably was a travel, no call. Rebound pulled down by Newton, goes back up, and he'll get a bucket and the foul. That's the third and one for Cole Newton. He's got right now 8 points in this fourth quarter. He's got a chance to make it 9 as he has his third trip to the free throw line for an and 1. .8 seconds left to go. It is a 12-point game, but apparently Newton wanted to try and hit it off the rim to get an offensive rebound and a chance at either 2 or 3 instead of just the and 1. In the backcourt, Kemmerly will bounce it up the floor to Cantrell, get it up to Egbert on the baseline. He gets a whistle. Well, this fourth quarter has slowed down tremendously for a game that has been double-digit spread on the scoreboard for much of the second half of it. Roseburg led by 6 at the end of the third quarter. Here in this fourth quarter right now, Roseburg 26 points. On the other side for Willamette, 20. Big fourth quarter here for both sides. First free throw, no good for Gannon Egbert. Launches up the second and gets it. The sophomore will get his first points of the night. That might be his first points at the varsity level. 3 from the left side as the game comes to a close as Egbert gets the rebound, and your final score 61-48. And the Roseburg Indians will get the win, their second in league play, and snaps a 4-game losing streak, and they will move to 6-15 on the year, 2-6 in conference play. We will come back with the postgame show, try and see if we can get a word in with head coach Jordan Humphreys in the postgame, and we will recap all the scoring for you as well. Don't go anywhere, folks. The postgame show coming up next here on 541radio.com and on The Score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM. Copy.
Successful companies have a very important secret. Good advertising works and makes them money. That's why your business should contact Lotus Media Group. Let us help you cash in with multimedia advertising. Multiple touches from Douglas County's only Google certified partner and most effective advertising platform. Web, broadcast, print. Make it happen. LotusMediaGroupLLC.com.
Do I have enough money put away to retire?
Plan for your future with confidence. At Palm Wealth Management, we'll help you see a clear path to financial peace of mind. Call Palm Wealth Management today.
In today's big box store, how-to YouTube video world, it is hard to do it yourself. If you're fixing your fence or putting in a new one, the only place to start is Quality Fence. We stock almost anything you need and take the time to show you how to really do it yourself. Visit the Quality Fence showroom in Roseburg and get great fencing ideas at QualityFenceCo.com.
Quality Fences, doing it right for you.
Looking for more local sports coverage? CBS Sports Radio 1490 The Score has you covered. Check out our homepage at 541radio.com for sports stories, scores, and podcasts. And follow us on social media. 1490 The Score is on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And take the station with you wherever you go with the 541 Radio app. Download the app in your smartphone's app store and get access to a live stream of the station, sports stories, podcasts, and easy messaging with the station and other.
Back here at Roseburg High School, where the Indians pick up a win 61-48 on top of the visiting Willamette Wolverines. That'll snap a 4-game losing skid for the Tribe. And the Roseburg Indians will Roseburg Indians will get a chance to build off of that going forward with their next game coming up at North Medford next week. All right, joining us here in the post-game show will be head coach Jordan Humphreys. Have a quick conversation with us here, Coach. Appreciate you making the way up here for tonight's ball game. You need it up or down?
Up in my ears.
Okay, there we go.
There we go.
I didn't want to blare you out with the band here. Those guys really like to rock here in the post game. Well, congratulations on the win. How'd you feel about how things went for the team here tonight?
I mean, we came away with a win, and those are few and far between so far this year. So anytime we get one, especially at home, you know, for the fans that come out and watch and support us all the time, it's always good to have that with good energy and playing through adversity. I mean, we talked about the adversity we've had the last few weeks, and, you know, we continue to play hard and, you know, battle through injuries. We got the walking wounded down there with our crutches crew, and so for the guys to continue to battle and play through adversity is huge.
You know, first I want to start acknowledging maybe guys that don't get mentioned as often. Tonight you mentioned walking wounded, so you guys are a little bit short-handed. You got some big minutes from guys like Tristan Frabel out there, Jaden Kemmerly. I know he's been out on the floor some for you, but these guys might have been asked to do a little bit more to provide some depth for you here tonight, and it felt like those guys came up with some big minutes for you here tonight.
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, Tristan and Jaden both, you know, Tristan hit that big three in the first half, and even after missing one, he still had the confidence to go out and shoot the next one. Both good shots, and knocked that second one down and handled the ball well for us. And Jaden was huge minutes, giving guys breaks and playing with confidence. Had you know, just good decision making from different positions, asking them to play out of position a little bit, spots they don't always work on in practice, and they were able to go out and adjust and do what the team needed.
You guys get a nice night. Harrison Scott finishes 11 in that fourth quarter. I got him down for 21 in the game, but you know, your starters played heavy minutes. Just for those guys to be out there as long as they are, and then being able to come up big for you guys to be able to fight through a game that was pretty physical here tonight, but those guys to be able to kind of fight through and be able to give you what you needed to get a win here tonight. Just being able to kind of find that little bit of gas left in the tank on a night when they were asked to play a lot of minutes. So how'd you feel about the way your starters played?
I mean, yeah, especially on a back-to-back, right?
Yeah.
You know, they played big minutes last night too, and you know, one of the things we talk about a lot is conditioning. We definitely do a lot of that. I mean, one of the running jokes from past players is you put more guys in college track and cross-country programs than you have in basketball, and so they know the conditioning they do, and it's for reasons like this. When you come up to some crazy situation and you get a back-to-back night with a guy getting injured and you're not playing very deep, and your guys have gas, like you said, gas left in the tank.
Mm-hmm. You know, it was a little bit of a slow start for both sides, but for you guys, fall behind by 5, ended up leading by 2 at the end of the first quarter, carried over into the second quarter where you guys go on a 6-0 run to start that second period. That kind of swing in the game, how did you feel? Do you feel like that kind of was the kickoff for you guys to really kind of start getting into your groove in this one?
Oh, definitely. I mean, in a low-scoring game, you know, any sort of a 6-point lead or a 6-point run is going to take a little away from them and get them a little deflated, because it's going to be a battle to come back from that when it's a low-scoring game.
Well, a good win here tonight. You guys snapped that losing streak. Obviously, you look to try and build off of it. It's a Friday, so you guys will get the weekend to kind of rest up and kind of get yourself right for next week. Only one game. You got back-to-back to this week. Only one game next week. You know, so you guys get a chance to get ready to go on the road for your next couple of games down to Medford. Never easy road trips down there. You see signs that maybe hopefully this is, you know, some positive confidence-building moments for this team going forward?
I mean, yeah, that's what we talk about. I mean, obviously, like we said before the game, you know, having other guys score. Harrison ended up with 21, like you said. I don't know what other guys had, but I know we had contributions from lots of different guys. And, you know, Owen didn't shoot the ball as well as he does most of the time. And to have a win when he doesn't shoot great is awesome for the team and the confidence of other guys. Jaron had a great night attacking the basket. Got some good shots in the middle and went up against a big guy and went at him like he didn't care. And that confidence is starting to show out with those guys.
You know, when you made me think of one other thing I wanted to address with you here real quick is, you know, obviously Willamette's got some size and physicality to him. Tony Cumberland's he's a football guy out there, plays well on the basketball. He's just a good athlete, but he's got that football body. But I had you guys down for maybe 6 block shots. There might have been more. I thought Caden Luther and Jaron Leeworthy did well contesting shots tonight. How'd you feel about kind of that defensive side that you guys were able to kind of put some pressure on some shots?
I mean, yeah, it was a physical game. I don't know how many of those were clean block shots, but, it'll go in the stat book as that. But, yeah, they weren't afraid of him, right? And even number 4 for them was a big, strong guy, and we weren't going to back down. And that's one thing I love about these guys. For the most part, we aren't going to back down. And we've talked about it all year. And sometimes we do it, sometimes we don't. We adjusted to the way the officials were calling it. And we just said, hey, they're going to let you play like that, then keep playing like that and until we tell you to back off. And they made that adjustment, and it was good to see.
All right, Coach. Appreciate the time. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you, sir.
All right. That is Coach Jordan Humphreys joining us here in the the postgame show here as we start wrapping things up here tonight. Well, as we finish it out, let's take a quick look at some of the scoring for us here this evening. 61-48, your final score. Roseburg getting the victory. As mentioned, Harrison Scott, your leading scorer in the matchup with 21. He finishes with 8 of 10 at the free throw line, as he had a big fourth quarter with 11 points to get to 21, leading scorer in the ballgame tonight. Also in double figures, Owen Bentia with 13. He had 3 3-pointers. Caden Luther finishes with 12. Pretty even scoring after the first quarter. Put 4 up in each period to get to 12. Those are the 3 players in double figures for Roseburg. 8 points for Jaron Leeworthy. 5 points for Tristan Frabel off the bench. 1 point for Gannon Egbert. And 1 point for Easton Cantrell. On the other side for Willamette, leading scorer in double figures, Tony Cumberland with 13. In double figures, Cole Newton with 11. He scores 8 in the fourth quarter, goes to the line for 3 consecutive and 1 opportunity. He's kind of crazy there. Let's see here. You had 7 points for Jacob Hall, 5 points for Cole Zumwalt, 2 points for Jason Butler, 2 points for Cameron McCann, and 9 points in the game for Cannon Burke. And that is your scoring here tonight. Let's see here. 3 3-pointers for Willamette. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for Roseburg here tonight. So that is a look at this one. Roseburg, largest lead of the night, 16. They got to that in the fourth quarter. They had a double-digit lead in the third quarter, got it to 11, and then kept stretching it out in that fourth quarter as they would come away with the win. Knight Urensky, you've been on a minutes restriction here tonight, so we'll bring you back in as you get your final parting ways here. You've been covering the team all season, so you've been seeing them a lot. How'd you feel about what we saw tonight from this Roseburg team? And, it's not going to be easy going on the road to Medford. Never an easy place to win, but maybe a chance to build some momentum, hopefully maybe get a little bit healthier. Maybe, I don't know how the long-term prognosis is for Landon Fanigow. It would be great to have him back out on the floor coming up at North Medford on Tuesday next week. But, all around, it was a pretty nice kind of team win tonight for the Roseburg boys. As mentioned, Owen Bentia didn't necessarily hit as many shots. Still finished with 13, but a nice night for Harrison Scott to get to 21. Caden Luther muscling his way underneath with 12. All around a pretty nice team win here this evening.
Certainly was a team win, and I feel like I should have gave you more play-by-play because they obviously came out and played pretty well after you blamed the losses on me earlier today in the pregame show. Maybe we should have gave more games to you because they looked pretty darn good here tonight. I really do think that this was a complete team win, obviously without Vanagow. It's a big loss, and they were able to handle themselves pretty well. Harrison Scott, another great performance for him against Willamette, and I thought they did a good job defensively. 48 points given up, some of the lowest they've given up all season long, and so, and a lot of those points for those 48 came in the later part of that fourth quarter. They held Willamette to about 30 points deep into the second half, and so really good defensive effort for the squad. This was the defense giving up the most points in 6A, and Roseburg going up against the offense that has scored the least amount of points. And, Roseburg's defense was able to win a battle here today. But a couple of tough road trips upcoming, going back-to-back weeks to Medford. Those always long trips, some of the longest trips of the year. Obviously, they went up to Portland and played a few games up in that area. Had the game against Century a few weeks ago, the last non-league game. But overall, a good team win, getting a lot of contributions from a lot of different players. Good to see Gannon Egbert get into the game and get a point for himself. I think it's his first point, and good for Ashton Palm to get a start here tonight as well. Senior that's been working for that and finally got the start here tonight, although he wasn't able to contribute. But he's back out there on the floor with his brother.
Like a jersey swap going on.
It's like a jersey swap with his brother, who is on the JV team. That's a little fun right there. I'll zoom in on the camera to just show that. This feels like Ashton doesn't want to be there. Nonetheless, good team effort, good win for the Roseburg boys, and really happy for them to get another win at home. Their second in Southwest Conference play.
JV got a 51-46 win. Varsity gets a 61-48 victory. A sweep here on this court. I don't know the final score of the freshman game that was going on tonight as well, but here at Robertson Memorial Gymnasium, a good night for the Roseburg Indians. Next one is at North Medford coming up Tuesday next week. That'll be a 6:45 start time for the Roseburg boys down there. And for the Willamette Wolverines, they'll be playing at the Purple Pit against South Eugene coming up on Tuesday at 7 o'clock start time for that one. All right, folks, that's going to wrap it up for us here tonight from Roseburg High School, where the Indians pick up a win, 61-48 against the Willamette Wolverines. I want to say thanks to everybody that helped make tonight's broadcast possible. First and foremost, I want to say thanks to Athletic Director Adam Blue, Head Coach Jordan Humphreys, and the entire Roseburg boys basketball program for allowing us to bring you another season of Roseburg basketball here on The Score. I want to say thanks to Knight Uretsky for doing some great work with the play-by-play all season long and helping out with the video production here tonight on site as he recovers from that struggling vocal cords. He's sounding much better than he did earlier in the week. I will guarantee you that there, folks. I want to say thanks to Brenton Cranford back in the studio for the radio production here tonight. And thanks to you, the fan, for tuning in for tonight's broadcast because, of course, without you, I'm just a guy sitting here talking to myself. I'm Joey Keyran. We'll catch up with you guys next week on Tuesday night. Do believe that, barring any sort of craziness, Knight will be back behind the microphone for you. Or play-by-play duties coming up on Tuesday at North Medford. So look forward to that. You can catch the action streaming online at 541radio.com, where you can watch the action thanks to the sponsorship of the Cow Creek Tribe, or find it on our YouTube channel, 1490 The Score there. Or, of course, find Roseburg High School sports all throughout the school year right here on Douglas County's home for sports, The Score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM.